On their second landing in Greenland, the students found themselves in a huge landscape, and they were asked to focus on the ideas of size and scale by artists Colette Liberté and illustrator Geneviève Cotte.
We've been traveling in landscapes that are just overwhelming, and Jessica was asking everyone how they felt looking at the landscape, and Sean answered, "It makes me feel very small." This whole... Did you get to hear Victor's answer? He just came to me and said, "Oh, can you imagine all this thing makes me feel like a giant?" And I thought, but God, you're saying the exact opposite of Sean, because Sean was looking at the clouds and the vastness, and Victor was looking at the moss and looking at it like it was a tiny jungle and he was a giant. So the idea is to get a sense of the scale. So now we'll start with just taking one interestingly shaped rock and really enlarge it. It has a particular contour. This contour is part of its story, so I want you to get as precise as you can. Draw it like you're looking at it really close, getting into it.
As they are probing the ground to find the depth of the permafrost, I asked them to kind of pay attention to the ground and look at what is growing on the surface. So to choose a location where they probe and then sit down and collect the information on the surface of their paper.
So here is sort of where I try to draw these sort of plants right here. And I've got some rocks and like the moss, which is this right here. We're trying to combine our visual observations and sort of create something more artistic in the same spot where we're conducting scientific experiments. So we've been probing the ground with the goosers to see how deep the active layer of soil goes. And right now we're drawing what sort of is on the active layer and what we see above the active layer. When you're looking at numbers, it's very easy just to find them, but it's a lot harder to show what the numbers are talking about. Trying to view it with an artist's eyes instead of a scientist's eyes.
The third landing at Tesemiert Field on the southernmost tip of Greenland was a completely different experience. The students were asked to think about their feelings as they drew the landscape.
Every scenery, every landscape that we touch, it has a different essence to it. In fact, it's like breathing into another world every time you go. And the Arctic environment is so diverse, though people have a very narrow mindset about it being simply a cold place where you have ice falling every time. But every time you look around, you find something new growing, something new adapting, something new evolving.
The thing that we're talking about, how sometimes you feel small, sometimes you feel big in different landscapes. I want to show that. So to put a big picture of an iceberg, and see how small you feel near the iceberg. And then to put some small pictures of this small mushrooms and flowers and all the stuff that we see. So to put that picture so people can feel what we're feeling here.
Art reaches into the feelings of people. I was sitting here drawing that mountain. It's here drawing sketch, and also kind of writing what I feel about this trip, remembering why we're here. I wrote, this entire experience has been incredible, and I know I will remember it vividly for the rest of my life. It's where I can really do something for the planet in which I live and love, and where I can really make a change.
I'm drawing the landscape. I've got the mountains, and the clouds, and the water, and the boat, and all of the different vegetation and the rocks around here. It would be a tragedy to lose all of this because so few people do get to see it, and we're so fortunate to be here in really an untouched part of the world. Here you get to appreciate what the glaciers have done, and you can still see the glaciers. You can see how it's moving in relation to the landscape. Change is important for us, but it's like a culture change that we need so that people are willing to act and realize the impact of their actions. It's a much larger change that needs to happen than changing your grocery bags.